Well, good morning, everybody. First of all, apologies for the fact that there is the odd bit of construction work that you might be able to hear going on next door. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear me over the noise of whatever machine they've got going. Amazingly, on Wednesday, 2 days early, the state filed its response to Kathleen Zellner's brief. Brief, was it that? The motion? I'm not sure what the difference is. But Zellner filed her motion, I think it's called, back in October 14th, 2019. It has taken the state 226 days to write basically nothing. The state's solicitor is this Lisa Comfer. Lisa, I think you should be pretty much embarrassed. I realize it's your job. You know, you have to defend the state because that is your job. But I think you would be particularly embarrassed by what you've written. Of course, it's very difficult to argue against the evidence that Zellner has got. So in that respect, I suppose we got what we were expecting, which was pretty much a load of nonsense. As a good friend of this channel mentioned to me yesterday, he simply put, DB Cooper simply put, copied and pasted from Judge Flower's denials, piecemeal barred, piecemeal barred, piecemeal barred, ad infinitum. And as he points out, took over 6 months. Over 6 months, 226 days to write that garbage. Okie dokie. So let's have a look at one of the reactions that I saw came up the other day. I've been in touch this morning with our good friend from just across the border there, Mr. Banana Man. Eric eats bananas. And let me share what he posted in Reddit. He then, I got in touch with him and said, is it all right if I share this? He said, oh yeah, that's fine. But he then went on to say that there were better Reddit posts and tweets by Henbury and TikTok Manitwalk, an AC Rookie, but we might get on to them later on. First of all, though, let's have a look at the TikTok Reddit post of yesterday. This is, as I say, this is posted by Eric Eats a Banana. And he put that the state's response is much better than their previous responses to Zellner's brief. However, I see the reason for that as being the fact they no longer have Judge Flowers as the sole reader and decision maker. Previously, they could have said Stevie Wonder acted as lookout while Avery murdered Teresa, and Flowers would have agreed. Just make sure this is all coming through for us. Good. Now they are dealing with a different caliber of judge, and more than one of them. So they have actually had to put some effort into their response. Quite frankly, regardless of their snark, yeah, they were pretty snarky at Zellner and Avery. I think it shows that they are scared that the Court of Appeal will find at least one thing they deem serious enough for at least a hearing. And a few people have asked me about when Zellner will be responding. She's got until, I believe, or she can respond up until the 11th of May. 11th of June, sorry. They have still danced around various issues. They have nearly completely avoided the bad faith issue of the bones. No mention of Fallon directly lying to Zellner about the bones, or William's phone call, which proves more than one person knew and was lying about the bones. They have skirted around the fact that Veely was purposely the VLCD was purposely withheld by Tom Fassbender and kept in his possession for over a decade, well, either his possession or somebody's possession, and it wasn't handed over. It wasn't turned over as part of discovery, despite what they say. Similarly, they don't deny the Zipper CD wasn't turned over as part of discovery, instead saying Buchanan and Strang may have received it, they didn't, but that Joe Allen testified about its contents anyway. And that's not the point. They don't deny the flyover was edited, just that Zellner hasn't proved it was. They also seem to have issue with Zellner using more than one Denny suspect, something she is well within her rights to do, and quite frankly, any good investigator should. All she has to do is show the suspects meets the three-prong criteria, which is something she has done on more than one occasion. The state are hoping the Court of Appeal simply decide that the case law they have cited either prevents what Zellner has filed from being considered at all, or that it provides law on why the standard is not met. They have not tried in any great detail to disprove or deny what Zellner has said, relying more on saying that she has not proven it. In my opinion, they can only take this route because they know that the evidence against Avery is shaky or false and that Zellner is on the right track. They know that there are valid doubts about the evidence and that there is at least a possibility that someone else did it. They are hoping the Court of Appeal decides Zellner has not done enough to prove any Brady violations or scientific results, but I think they know that with an evidentiary hearing, Zellner will prove at least one of them. I think that the Court of Appeal will decide that an evidentiary hearing is warranted on what Zellner has presented. If the state are so solid on their conviction, they should be able to solidify this at a hearing and put the case to bed. What do they have to fear from the Court of Appeal ordering a hearing that listens to everything old and new? When I said better, I meant in terms of effort, compared to their often two-page or little more replies. In terms of content, in places, it's worse than the previous responses and slightly better than in others. But overall, just more avoiding of the issues and the truth. JJack61, Banana Man said, perfectly said, Banana Man. And it was entered into evidence. Fassbender gave the CD to Uyghur. And Dead Good Disco. I'm very grateful for this information. It explains a lot to me. Thank you. And Eric replied, thank you for the correction from previous filings. I was under the impression he kept a hold of it. Good to have that clarified and corrected. Okie dokie. So I was going to find out what I was going to mention a little bit more about the state's responses. As I say, I got a message from a good friend, DB Cooper, who helps me track down some books. I've got a couple more books ordered. Having watched The Murder in the Bayou, I've ordered the book by Ethan Brown, and having finished the Radley Belko book, there's another one on its way about written from a prosecutor looking at the corruption within the prosecutor system. The bit that struck me within the first few pages, I think it was when the Alicia Comfer referred to the fact that you can't have these Zellner presenting stuff bit by bit, as they were calling it. Although, as far as I knew, she wasn't presenting it bit by bit. It's all there in the motion. But they have mention of the word clogging up the system. I mean, how terrible that anything as insignificant as trying to release a wrongfully convicted person should ever do that to their court system. Anyway, as I say, just a very, very quick one today. If I get the chance to look at one or two other opinions, reactions, shall we say. We'll also have a look at the Post-Crescent article about it. So far, Zellner hasn't given her response. I would imagine she's having a good laugh at it, and is going to be hitting them, the state that is, pretty hard, because it was as Eric Banana Man pointed out, it was very snarky. You know, trying to be clever, but with nothing to back it up. So anyway, I'm sure the dude's got other stuff that he wants to look at. So maybe I'll get a chance to speak with him live at some point over the weekend. And there's been so many videos going on at the moment. You know, last night you could have tuned into about 2 or 3 at the same time. So anyway, yes. What book about prosecutors are you ordering? I've ordered it and I can't remember the name of it. It's I do apologize. Once it arrives, and it is on its way, I'll let you know. Okay. I just can't remember what it is. Yep, I better crack on. And as I say, Zellner's response will be, I believe, by the 11th of May. So we've not got at all long to wait before we have a proper piece of writing to look at. As I say, 226 days to copy and paste. And basically, as we, I think a lot of us kind of speculated, it was purely going to be a case of you know, sticking up for Judge Angie, because Judge Angie had stuck up for them, you know, looking after one another. Anyway, I better go and do some work, and we'll catch you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.